If we can increase our source and influence partner deals 10% with
Yeah.
using this tool, what would that look like? I'm wondering if you get this feedback, but like, does super glue start to justify the costs for Crossbeam or PRM or others, especially Crossbeam? Because I think it's data that I use a lot as a partnerships leader going in and evaluating partnerships. But then that data is sitting in our case, Salesforce. And I've like written this whole process for how salespeople should use it, but they're not using it. And then I'm like, why am I paying for that? So
Yeah.
do you see that happening where it actually
Yeah.
starts to justify other costs?
Yeah, that's a really good point. What I just did is I looked at the revenue, the upside potential, but we can look at the cost of partner teams, right? Partner managers aren't cheap. So do I want my partner manager to manually reach out, check in with people, or do I want to automate that, do more of it? And the other thing is that these tools, yeah, portals have adoption issues. It's kind of like having, if we go back to, word of Martech, it's like having a beautiful e-commerce website and no loyalty program that drives people to the website. Well, same with a PRM, right? Like if I can't just send people a PRM, be like, hey, take care of yourself. And yeah, cross housing, I think, is a good one. We don't see it that much. What you're describing is, I think, what a lot of people struggle with. There's all this data. They're like, hey, AEs, like there's a new way of selling, change your workflow, do this, do that. But I think AEs are just crazy overwhelmed, right? Like, and telling them like, there's a new AI tool, then there's partner data, and then there's this other new way of selling. I think, yeah, they're just overwhelmed. So we can just be like, hey, how about we don't tell them to change their ways, but just think more about like meeting them where they are, where they would need us. I see that adds a lot of values and people love it once it's up and running. We have a lot of discussions and partnerships about enablement, and everybody thinks that they can change AEs.
Yeah, it's very challenging too. This is like going on a sidetrack, but so much sales tech comes out all the time because there's money to invest in sales tech. But sometimes I'm like, can we simplify these stacks or make it fully automated for them? Because like it's
Yeah.
like make sure you set up your gong. Then they have this new video show for follow up. Then we
Yeah.
have these, then da, 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 and it becomes very overwhelming. So
Yeah, absolutely. You know what I love about AEs though is that AEs are extremely willing to experiment with all these tools and figure out like how to be.
good 80s, yes.
Yeah, exactly. The best AEs, they buy their own tools sometimes. So they're like, I need this tool, I'm going to pay if it's seat based, right? In partnerships, we're not there yet. Yeah.
Yeah, I think there's a little bit of the mentality of the
Mhm.
people in these two groups, right? Just get guys. I'm not saying somebody's better, somebody's worse, but I think when you are in sales, you have to be opportunistic. That's your main character. You're going to be naturally creative. So when you're creative, you're willing to try things that are working or working
Uh,
better.
yeah.
You can't blame them for willing to try something else. It's just you need to ensure that you are not replacing something with worse outcome or potentially worse outcome than what you already have. If something doesn't work, they leave the company or they just move to something else.
Yeah.
Whereas in partnership, everything's based on the relationship. And you don't want to shake up too many things because you know how long it takes you to build a business relationship, any relationship.